I want to talk to you about this today, seriously. Because this is it. Now, maybe we don't say this out loud, because I just want you to kind of think it to yourself and see how it sounds. I only want to work a part-time schedule, but I do want to make a lot of money. In your soul, that's what you want. But almost everybody in the room, is too clever to actually say that out loud, right? I do want to make a lot of money. That's why I got a real estate license. I just don't want to work 60, 70 hours a week to do it, right? Greg, you get anybody like that in the mortgage business? I want to dabble. I want to stir it with my pinky as I run my personal life over here, right? And the reasons are sometimes very valid, right? I've got kids. I've got a real job, and I'm trying to transition into real estate. I got myself into this situation at this brokerage, and I can't get out of it. And the reasons are many. I just don't want to work that hard. Okay, I get it. Part-time schedule, full-time money. Well, we're going to talk about how to do that today. But first, let me say this. You're probably not. And I know you knew that was coming. But it's not a come on. It's just, I want to come back to that because you're probably not. Then again, this is what we sit and talk about in my, but I have seen people do it. Lisa, you did it. You did. You worked a full-time job and transitioned into real estate. And you weren't willing to leave that full-time job until you felt like, yeah, this is real, and I've got money in the bank, and I'm doing well. Leanne, you did it. You worked at a PR company full-time, and you transitioned into real estate. And you're top 3 in the office. These people did it. So it is possible. It's not likely, but it is possible. I have seen agents make millions of dollars a year basically being a soccer mom. And there's nothing wrong with being a soccer mom. But if you can be a soccer mom and to make $1 million a year selling real estate, I'm fascinated by that because I want to get me some of that. All right? So how do these people pull it off? Well, let's talk about that today, okay? I'm going to show you how they pull it off. And at the same time, I'm going to say, you're probably not going to be able to do that. But some of you are going to try to do it whether I tell you it's likely or not. You just are. That is just your life right now, and you're going to try to make it work. So let's try to make it work. Let me show you how to do it if you are insistent upon going that road. First, you have to understand there's 2 types of business development, marketing that's out there. There's active and there's passive. Active, you are chasing. Bob, you are chasing every day. Lanier, you are chasing every day. You are going after them. You are making outbound calls, and a lot of them say yes. Yes, good. And you need to make more. You do. You are actively chasing the business. This is FSBO calls, expired calls, door knocking, some type of paid lead generation, mailings. These are examples of active prospecting, active marketing. Okay? This works, folks. This is it. If you come to me and say, how do I make a lot of money selling real estate? I say, well, you do this. Because you spending any money doing this? Okay, this is a single agent, a lone agent at almost $25 million in production year to date, who spends no money procuring his business, no referral fees, no marketing budget. Well, how do you do that? How do you make $1 million a year selling houses and you don't spend anything? Well, you do this. Morgan, you going to do this? Uh-huh. Lisa, you going to do this?
Not likely.
Leanne, you going to do this? No. But it does work if you'll do it. Passive is totally different, and this is what we're going to talk about today. Passive is attracting business to you. You're not chasing it. it comes to you. This is what you all thought it was going to be when you got into real estate. People will call me and ask me to help them buy or sell homes. This is what you thought it was going to be. Most of us desperately want this to be true. It's just not usually. Okay, passive. Social media is passive. Videos, video emails. I tell you to do this, right? Every week, you got to have your video message, 60 seconds that you email out to everybody in your database. So I don't have a database and I don't use my CRM. Well, you're going to have a really hard time with this. Activities, events. Bill, what'd you just do? Roswell Youth Day Parade, right? Yeah, it's an activity or event. Sponsorships, promotional items, right? Where's my coffee cup? See? Promotional items. Branded stuff, right? Most of you have your name badge on. That's a promotional item. Branded clothing, name badges, car magnet signs. These are all examples of passive. The difference between passive and active is what, Bob? You can track your numbers if you're active. Right. He can control how many people he touches today in the active category. The passive category cannot. You can do all these things. You can't control how many people see it. Lanier can control it. How many contacts, conversations are you going to have today? 20. See, he knows. On the passive side, you don't know. Here's the thing. Don't get this wrong. Each group has disdain for the other group. Absolutely. Bob, watch. He's going to want to get up and leave once we get into this conversation. He is going to want to spit on the floor. He would say to me privately in my office, "That's stupid. You shouldn't encourage people to do that. That's ridiculous." Is that fair? No. And Leanne has disdain, not for the person, but for what it represents. Leanne has disdain for Bob. I'm not going to do that. I love Bob. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be a telemarketer. That's ridiculous. I'm not that I don't want to be that slimy person that Bob is. They have disdain for each other, contempt. You do not. Okay, passive groups who are trying to attract people. If you want to play in this space, and most of you do, I'm saying I have seen people be ridiculously successful doing this. But you got to get it right. If you get it wrong, you're screwed. Okay? And I want to keep referencing back to the opening video we watched. You better be humble and kind. And you better get a hold of your little ego, or you are going to fail at this. Though you will say, "I'm implementing the strategy," and I'm going to say, "Yeah, but you're not likable." Never bring it up. People that are doing this, never bring it up. And by it, I mean real estate. I have generated out of my golf club, which you could call a target audience, and I'm not even listing and selling homes. I've generated $12 million in production this year. You have a $1.4 million home listed from one of my golf buddies, don't you? Leanne, I'm sorry. Well, what'd you sell? 1.2, right? They walk over to me. "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?" "Sure." "We got to move." I'm like, "Okay, great. Well, let me grab one of my agents and we'll come talk to you." "Okay, great." It's that easy. Isn't that awesome? $1 million listings. You want some of that? Come talk to me. I'll tell you exactly how you get some of that. Isn't that great? Somebody with a $1.4 million house just walks over to me on the driving range at the club and says, "Hey, can you help me out?" I go, "Yeah, can we get the golf in first and then talk?" I never bring up real estate. That is my rule. I never bring it up, or you're going to be that person. Just, oh God, here comes Mike. What's he going to try to sell us today? What's he going to try to get us to do today? Never bring it up. Rule number 2, Ami.
So in that case, would you recommend...
I didn't mean rule number 2 is Ami. I didn't mean that.
Would you wear, is it appropriate to wear a name badge, for example, for you?
Oh, this little thing, you know, I put this on in the morning. I forgot I had it on. Yes, but I'm not bringing it up. I'm not going to be that person that talks about real estate all the time and incessantly. I don't want people to groan when they see me coming their way. Don't be a jerk. Look, if Bob can be a jerk, Lanier can be a jerk, David can be a jerk.
We're not.
They're just pounding out calls, volume. As a matter of fact, being a jerk at some level is kind of required. You've got to be aggressive. You've got to be assertive. You've got to get in there and push. Chris, you and I were talking about this morning. Chris, nobody ever calls me and complains about you. Fix that. Next week, I want 3 complaints on you. I won't. He's such a sweet guy. He's not going to do anything to make people complain about him. Lisa, I get complaints about Lisa all the time. You can't be a jerk and play in this space. Get your ego under control. It's not about you. Just keep saying that to yourself over and over and over again. It's not about me. It's not about me. Every conversation you have for the rest of your life is not about you. Did anybody see the post I put on my personal page on Facebook yesterday with the man and the woman sitting having dinner? Anybody see that? David, you saw it? What did it say?
It was, thank you for making my problem.
Go to Facebook on your phone and pull my personal page up. And this is, I should have had it up here today, but I ran out of time. This is everything in your business. Man and woman sitting there at dinner, and the woman saying to the man, thank you, I knew you would find a way of making my problem something that happened much worse to you.
Thanks, I knew I could count on you to turn my problem into something way worse than that happened to you. That's
what we do this. Everybody in the room does this. You're telling me about your trip to the beach. And I go, yeah, I know, I've been there too. Now let me tell you my story. She wanted to tell me her story. Shut up and listen to them and just let it be all about her. Don't make it be about you. I wonder if we can.
That's so much harder to do than it is when you say.
Okay, so watch. You don't think it's that hard? I'm going to give you a challenge. For the rest of today, you can't talk about you at all. The rest of today. Until you get up tomorrow morning, every conversation you have for the rest of the day can't be about you at all. Has to be about everybody else, whoever you're talking to. See if you can do it.
That'd be so great.
Be consistently involved. Well, I've got kids in school and, I think I'm going to work to school and they play sports and I'm going to be involved in their sports and I live in this neighborhood and I do whatever I want to do whenever I feel like doing it and I have the time. This ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. You got to be consistently involved. You got to be, watch, you got to be the Indian and not the chief. Do I want you to get involved in your neighborhood? If you want to play in this space, yes. You have to be the person in the neighborhood everybody just loves and adores. You do. Or you need to do what Bob and Lanier and David do. You got to do one or the other. But you never want to be the head of your HOA. No, you do not. You want to be the person that says to whoever was dumb enough to do that, hey, anything you need, you call me, I'll help you. You be the helper. You be the Indian. Don't ever be the chief. Passive activities include things like branded clothing. Hey, when I go to my golf club, C21's on my body somewhere. Hopefully it's visible. If it's not, that gets a little weird. But It's why I'm putting the brand to work for me. The brand says I sell real estate. Otherwise, why the hell would I be wearing a hat with Century 21 on it all the time? I wouldn't. It says I sell real estate without me having to say it. My branded email account, all these things, they say it so you don't have to say it. And that's really the trick. Name badges. Oh, this thing? It's just part of my wardrobe. I put it on in the morning, I forget about it. Does it offend you? Video email. If you're not doing this, it's free. Come on, folks. It's free and it's passive. So you embed it in an email. You send it out to everybody you have an email address for every week. You keep it short and sweet. Keep it 40 to 60 seconds. It doesn't have to be real estate all the time. Bill, you could have been talking about the Roswell Youth Day Parade. Jeff, you could have been talking about your chili cook-off. You can talk about whatever's going on in your life. It doesn't matter. Because, and here's why it doesn't matter. Because who do people do business with? People they know, they like, and they trust. Like, this is a key thing, and some of you got to open up yourself to this concept. Nobody is hiring you because they think you're the most competent real estate agent. They're not. They're not looking for the most competent real estate agent. That's why when they hire somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing, they did it because they're their friend. And then they turn out to be incompetent, and they get mad at all real estate agents. Well, sweetheart, you didn't try to hire a competent real estate agent because there's a whole room full of them here. You just hired your friend. You just hired the gal down the street. You just hired the gal in your Bible study class at church. You didn't really try to find out if they knew what they were doing or not. You just hired them because you knew them, you liked them, and you trusted them. And they turned out to be incompetent. Shocking. Drake, I really don't know if you know what the hell you're doing or not. I just known Drake since he was a baby, and he's a nice kid. That's all I really know about Drake. Does he know anything about insurance? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, won't we? If one of you get really ticked off because he's incompetent, then we'll go, oh, well, shit, I didn't know that. The video email, the reason why you want to do it is so that people stay connected to you, so you stay top of mind with them. And it's got to be you. What is it that I say to most of you about your social media accounts? Leanne, what is missing from your social media accounts? You! That's right. And you are who people want to do business with. They don't want to do business with that kitchen that you're posting a picture of. They want to do business with you. And it stops the scroll. If I know you and I'm scrolling down through Facebook and there's you, I go, oh, I know her. Because everybody else, I just keep scrolling right past. Don't you do that? Uh-huh. Events. Yeah, get involved. When your neighborhood has events, when the school has events. Where's Tom? Tom, what are you doing?
I'm piggybacking on the school's event. They're doing a screen on the green and I'm bringing the popcorn machine.
So they're showing an outdoor movie?
That's it.
When?
It's October 23rd.
Okay, great. And what are you doing to participate in the event with them?
I'm using the van and I'm bringing a popcorn machine, and I'm going to have 200 branded bags that I'm going to hand out with popcorn.
Isn't that a nice idea? Uh-huh. Because his target audience is his daughter's school. Now, he wanted to have a box of puppies and have the kids come around. I thought, now that's creepy. Don't do that. He goes, okay, well, if I can't do the puppies, then how about a popcorn machine? I'm like... Come here, little kid. Okay, so Tom, have your wife there with you, okay? And, hey guys, last year we bought this van and we had it all wrapped up. Why did we do that? Yeah, so you could, we use it for deliveries to put out and pick up your signs and lot boxes and stuff. But that's not why we did it. We didn't have to go buy a van to do that. We did it so you would have a branded billboard that you could use. So Tom can park it at this school event right next to his popcorn machine, and he just wheeled a billboard in there. I take it home, park it in my driveway, which I try to get y'all to do. It kills me when I pull into the parking lot on the weekend because, I work a lot of weekends. And, okay, well, you believe that. That's good. And the van's sitting out there, and I'm like, damn, one of the 100 of you could have taken it home and parked it in your driveway for the weekend. Because you know what happens when I do that? I'll come home from like playing golf on a Saturday, and Jane goes, would you take the van back to the office? I'm like, why? She goes, because everybody thinks we're moving. She takes the dog out for a walk, and everybody goes, oh, I can't believe y'all are moving. She's like, we're not going anywhere. Well, why is the van in your driveway? Because Mike is with such, oh, that's right, we forgot. What a great conversation for my neighbors to be having with my wife about what I do for a living. And it costs me nothing to do that. It's a prop. Car magnet signs. Look, I don't put them on my car when I'm driving. I have a problem with hand signals. I seem to like to give hand signals a lot. I don't want you to have my name and phone number. But when I'm not in my car's not a car. When you take the kids to school, when you pick them up, when you go to an activity, when you're at a sports event, your car's not a car. It's a billboard. And you get to park it there and nobody's going to object. Social media. If you think you're going to get buyers and sellers from social media, you're crazy. Now, I get there's somebody in the room who's going to say, well, I did get a listing off of I get it, but one isn't a trend, okay? Social media is the tool you use to stay top of mind and connected with people. It's not that you generate unmet contacts. If you think you've got this social media post, would you please come show it to me? The one where somebody's scrolling down Facebook and they go, oh my God, we've got to call her and buy our next house from her. Look at this social media post. And you're not a thought leader. You're not a thought leader, and you're not a life coach. So all these motivational things that you put on there that you think is making an impact on people and making them go, oh, wow, this person's no, they're not. They just scroll right past it. Unless it's really clever and they want to steal it for themselves, in which case your name never resonated with them. Promotional items, sponsorships, email accounts. Hey, watch. I do a lot of different things. The guys at my golf club, the people in my neighborhood, my Rotary Club, all this kind of stuff, right? I communicate with them via email. I only use my Century 21 branded email account. And I only use and all they ever think is, Mike's sending me an email from work. I'm not using Gmail or AOL or any of that other stuff. Why? It says I sell, and my signature stamp at the bottom, it says I sell real estate without me having to say it. And that's the trick. That's how people make a lot of money without working a lot. Passive groups. Your neighborhood. And if you live in a neighborhood or a geographic area, I'm assuming that all of you live somewhere. Say yes. Okay, good. See, that's called a check-in to make sure that you're still here with me and not daydreaming. Why not have a monthly newsletter and make it hyper-local to that neighborhood? Why not? Because you can do this. You don't have to work 70 hours a week to do this. Morgan, you stopped and made a video on your way home yesterday or the day before? Highly produced, pre-planned, scripted?
Not really. Just showing my amenities.
She actually said it in the video. She actually said, hey, I was on my way home and I thought, why not just stop here at the entrance to the neighborhood and make a short video? Like she's thinking out loud. I'm like, I don't know if you really had to tell everybody that. She just did it impulsively. It was actually watchable.
That's a good lesson on how you say things.
Yeah, that could be. Again, be an Indian, not a chief. Don't be the king of your neighborhood. Be the helper. Everybody loves the helper. You get to be president of your HOA board, everybody in your neighborhood will hate you. Adults do not like to be told what to do. Even if you're right, they don't like to be told what to do. Just be the Indian. To do that, you got to really check your ego at the door. If you want to be coach of the team or president of the HOA, you have king of the world issues. You want to be king of something and you want to tell other people what to do. And nobody likes those people. Events, use the van. Neighborhood events, help. My neighborhood is having a chili cook-off at the end of this month, right? So guess what I'm doing?
Stealing someone's chili.
No, I'm not going to steal the chili. The tables and chairs here in the room, I just say, hey, you going to need some tables and chairs? And they're like, yes, we've been trying to figure out what to do about that. We were going to rent them, but it's really expensive. I'm like, well, we got them at our office. Why don't you want to use ours? And they're like, yes. I'm like, would you like me to deliver them up to you? They're like, oh, they think I am the sweetest guy on the planet. It wasn't that funny. Am I the sweetest guy on the planet? Neva, am I the sweetest guy on the planet? Am I just a teddy bear? You just want to hug me? No. I don't have to be. They just think I am, which is awesome. What's it cost me? It cost me nothing. What would it cost you? Nothing. If you said, hey, who in here uses this room for a group that they work with? Rip, you do. Habitat for Humanity has their board meetings in here. We have all kinds of stuff going on. I don't care. That's what we did it for. You want to use the tables and chairs and the band? I'd like to get it all back, but please use it, right? And guess what? They're going to have a chili cook-off that Friday night, and I might just not drive the van back here once I drop it off Friday afternoon. I just might leave the van and say, hey, do you mind if I leave the van parked here so it's easy to load the stuff back up when we're done? And they're going to say, well, no, of course not. I'm going to go, good. I just parked a billboard at my chili cook-off. Social media. Yeah, you got to get connected. Morgan, nice that you made the video. But if you don't get connected to everybody in the neighborhood on Facebook, nobody knows you made the video, right? You are. I know you are. Oh, you're the social. See? You're not the president of the HOA. You are the
Social committee head.
You're the party girl. Yeah, everybody likes it. That's fun.
The guys like the bourbon tasting.
That's how you do it. Now, do they all hate the HOA board?
Probably.
Yeah, everybody hates it. Don't even be on the board. Just help the board. Car magnets again, the van, weekly video message, clubs, groups. Right. Hey, you want to make a lot of money and you don't want to work a lot of hours. You can do all this stuff. It's very passive. It doesn't take a lot of time. You thought you weren't going to do anything. Well, that's crazy. Come on. But you can do it from home. You can do it nights and weekends. You can do it around that full-time job you have. You can do it while the kids are in school. You could, or you could go, well, I don't know what to do. Well, that's why you're here this morning. You can't walk out of the room today and say, I don't know what to do. All you can walk out of the room today is say, I do know what to do, I'm just not going to do anything. I got no answer for that. Product. Branded clothing. Watch, I'm just going to pause in the middle of this for a second. Who was a Game of Thrones freak? Okay. Dwayne, you are a Game of Thrones freak. Dwayne, what was the big controversy that came up at the end of the final season? The Starbucks cup. Who said that? What happened? What are you talking about?
They left a Starbucks cup on the table in the middle of the episode.
And people, these people, they like get into shows and they're freaks about it. Casey's like this about games. If you have a game and you violate the integrity of the game, he's going to whoop your ass. He gets all bent out of shape about, he's a gamer and he doesn't like people violating the integrity of the games. So this Game of Thrones thing is set back in medieval times, right? Dragons and all that kind of stuff. And in a screenshot in an episode, one of the final episodes, there was a Starbucks coffee cup sitting on the table. And the Game of Thrones freaks just lost their minds, right? Now, what do you think the odds were that that was an accident? It's not a live show, right? They edit that stuff. Everybody missed it? No way. Starbucks paid millions of dollars to have that coffee cup left there. Social media. Bob, you're in a Rotary Club.
Yes.
You got to get connected to everybody in the Rotary Club on social media. You got to wear branded clothing to all the meetings, right? You got to have it on you somewhere. You don't like that. See, he has disdain for this. He's not going to do that. You don't have a name badge on.
I do.
Why?
This Bob.
Morgan, you have a name badge on. Big deal?
No.
It's not a big deal. Why don't you have a name badge on?
Because my name is Bob.
What he would say is, that's stupid. We have disdain for each other. Morgan, he has disdain for you. You don't think it's stupid?
I do not.
It doesn't make you want to spit on. Okay, well, hey, Bob, you want to make more money this year? Do you?
Sure.
Start wearing a name badge.
No.
See? You want to make more money this year? Pound out 3 hours worth of cold calls today to FSBOs.
I'll get back to you on that.
Uh-huh. See? If you want to play in this space, these are the things you have to do. Now, putting a car magnet sign on the side of your car, that takes hours. That takes labor time.
About me.
Social media, you can do it sitting in front of the TV at night. Branded clothing, it takes hours to put a shirt on. It doesn't. Is it good that you wear, Joanne, is it good that you wear clothes today? You think it is? Well, if you have to wear clothes today, why don't you wear clothes that say what you do for a living so that you don't have to say it? You have email accounts? Well, if you're going to email and communicate with people, why don't you do it with something that says what you do for a living? And if you have this, like Mike sells luxury homes in Atlanta.com, that's crap. It lacks credibility, okay? Now watch, this isn't a Century 21 commercial. You could be with any worldwide company, but if you're with some local company, most people don't know what it is. My Century 21 brand has credibility. Mike sells luxury homes in Atlanta does not. People don't, you want me to prove it to you? Watch. Those of you that have kids, Chris, you have kids. Chris, you're going to the beach. Okay? You're driving to the beach. It's lunchtime. The kids are in the back seat. How many kids do you have? 4. 4 kids in the back seat and they're getting hungry. It's lunchtime. And what happens when kids start getting hungry in the car? All right, you want to turn around and don't make me stop this car, right? Up ahead is Billy's Barbecue Shack on the right-hand side, and on the left is McDonald's. Where are you stopping? Why? You know it. The kids are going to eat whatever you make them eat. But Billy's Barbecue Shack might be the greatest barbecue shack on the planet, but you don't know that. You don't know that. What do you know about McDonald's? Who said that? Who said that? It's consistent. You can go, this is either a positive or a negative, depending on how you like it. You can go anywhere in the world and go into a McDonald's, and a quarter pounder with cheese is a quarter pounder with cheese. They make it the same way. It's the same thing. Whether you're in Atlanta or you're in Panama City, a quarter pounder with cheese is a quarter pounder with cheese. You know what you're going to get, right? Use the brand where you can for credibility. Video, email, message, be an Indian, not a chief. See, these things, this is how you do it. This is how, hey, who has kids in the room? Kids under 18. You want to make money off your kids? You do? You want to turn your kids from an expense center to a profit center? Okay. Get them all to wear Century 21 shirts to school tomorrow. When you go to school to pick them up, do this stuff. Why not? You got to have clothes on anyhow. Put it on your car. You're sitting in the, what do they call it? Morgan, what do they? Car line? Okay. If you got to be sitting in the car line anyhow. Bob, why won't you have car magnets, Bob?
I do not.
Why? Go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you're feeling. No. That's stupid. Good. If you think it's stupid, just pound out 3 hours of calls today. Sponsorships. Morgan, didn't y'all just sponsor something?
Yes, we're a business buddy now for our school.
A business buddy. Okay. If you just do that, Tom, if you just do the movie night, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. You just look like a weird guy that's giving away popcorn to little kids, okay? Okay, which is, it can go from being really creepy to, oh, that's Tom. How do you know Tom? God, Tom's everywhere. We see Tom all over the place. Tom's got to create that, or he's some weird dude down there giving out candy to little kids. Social media, schools. Get involved in the school. Social media, car magnets, branded clothing, sponsorships. Hey, this room out here, we call it the cellar, but Greg, what is it really? It's the First Community Mortgage Cellar, isn't it? And so Greg has his company on the wall out there. Ellen, what's our closing? We call it our conference room. What do you call it? The Marino and Associates closing room. Mm-hmm. Georgia, did anybody see the Georgia game this past Saturday? Oh, what happened? I missed it.
Well, the big story is we beat them and Alabama lost A&M.
Oh, we beat who? We beat Auburn. God, I'm sorry I missed that game. Was it a good game, Drake? I love these Auburn people. Hey, sponsor something at the school, like the library or a section of the library, right? People love you for doing that. When you do that, people go, oh, that Morgan, she's so sweet. And Morgan's going, yeah, I'm sweet. Watch me lift your wallet out of your back pocket. It's dastardly sweet. Activities. Yeah, get involved with the activities. How many of you have kids that play Little League ball besides Rob? Okay? Okay. Selena, your son plays Little League baseball. Right? Use the van. They got all this equipment they got to take with them and stuff. Use the van. She's so sweet. Video email message. Be an Indian. Ex-coworkers. Those of you that had real jobs, are you working the people that you used to work with? Some of you had jobs that, like Sharon, what did you used to do? You were a women's basketball coach where?
At Georgia, at Live, at Mercer, at East Carolina, and at Georgia State.
I want you to think about this for the number of young women that she was exposed to over how many years? 27. And they've all grown up now. And they all think back, hopefully, on their coach with fondness and extreme credibility. Do you think that if they need to buy or sell a house this year and they know that Sharon is now a realtor, that she doesn't jump right to the front of the line? Gosh, do they know that?
Some of them, I won't jump
Some of them, a small number. Your ex-coworkers. And this is how you do it. This is how you get top of mind. This is how you go, oh, you're not a basketball coach anymore. Now you sell houses. Oh. Networking. Don't be the dude that runs the networking group. Everybody hates the chief. Be the dude that does, hey, do you need some tables and chairs? What can I do to help? Branded clothing, weekly video message, name badge. And you see, you're starting to see something? Look, can you make a lot of money with a part-time schedule? Probably not. Because you're just going to sit at home and say, people need to call me. Or you could be at home, or you could be on this real job, and you could be saying, okay, so these different groups are in my life. Now, what could I do in the time that I have to make this happen? There's also another real key ingredient to this. You're going to have a be honest conversation with yourself about whether you're that person or not. Okay, I couldn't do this. I have no illusion. I fall more into the Bob. Bob, you can't do this either. You cannot. It's not in me. It's not in me. I can let my neighborhood use tables and chairs as long as I don't have to go to the chili cook-off event. I don't want to stand around and small talk with people for 2 hours. My wife does, I do not. I can't do this. I just can't make myself do it. Networking, I did it. I wasn't ever very good at it, and I didn't stick with it very long. I would rather have my toenails pulled out than go chit-chat with people for 2 or 3 hours. It's just not in me. You're going to have to, it's got to be in you. You've got to be willing to do some outreach, and you've got to be sweet, which means you're going to have to get your ego under control. And it's probably manifesting itself in ways that you don't even realize. And I'm going to give you a test to do with yourself today. Other than trying to go the entire rest of the day and not talk about yourself at all, I want you to think about this. Have you ever been introduced to somebody and they told you their name, and I swear to God, 5 seconds later, I can't remember their name? The reason why you can't remember their name is you weren't paying attention when they told you. And the reason why you weren't paying attention when they told you is because you were thinking about what you wanted to say next, and you weren't listening to them. And that is your ego. And people that do really well at this, and there are people, I call it the Lucky Sperm Club. They are people that can do this. They either come from incredible social circles with great networks. Greg Janicki's great at this. Go get Greg to take you over to St. Ives and play golf with him sometime. And watch what he does when he gets done. Greg knows everybody there. Everybody likes Greg. Okay, well, most people do. If you've been introduced to people and you forget their name as soon as it comes out of their mouth, your ego is out of control. You don't even have the ability to stand there and pay attention as somebody tells you their name. You're in your head and you're thinking about what you want to say next. Ask the people that live with you, that are the closest to you, to point it out to you every time you big time somebody. Oh, you guys went to the beach this weekend? That's great. Let me tell you about our trip to the beach. I'm big timing you. And my story's always one step. Greg, what do you bench? What do you bench, Drake?
No, it's been a while since I've been in the gym.
Give me a number. 2 1/4. That's great. You know, I just broke the 250 mark. My number's always bigger than his. I'm big timing him. If that's you, you're going to have to get that stuff under control or you can't do this. But if you can be sweet, if you can totally subjugate yourself to other people and make everything about them, oh, you could do this. That's what people do that make big time money on part-time schedules. And everybody thinks that's awesome. They either come from an incredible social network that we might not be able to reproduce. So some of you, bear with me one more time. as I tell you. When I was getting started in this business, there was an agent, Holly Boyette. Anybody know Holly? Greg, is Holly still with us? If she is, she's really old now. When I was getting in the business in the late 80s, Holly was #1 in Atlanta every year. Every year. And she was an older lady back then. And I met her one time. And I introduced myself to her and I just said, I just respect your consistency. Any tips that you could offer me? And I'm going to do my imitation, okay? Because Holly was a very sophisticated Southern lady. And she says, well, Michael, I don't really know what to tell you, honey. And I said, well, I mean, you're #1 in Atlanta every year. Any suggestions? And she goes, no. She goes, Michael, my husband is a heart surgeon at Piedmont Hospital, and I just sell houses to his friends. Holly was the chair of every charitable big-time thing in Atlanta every year. She lived on West Paces Ferry Road. She lived in that world. And she was being brutally honest with me. Mike, I live in this world. These people are my friends, and you don't. They're not going to list their homes with you. They're going to list their homes with me because I'm their friend. And I don't know how to tell you to do that. Go marry a heart surgeon. Some people, that's the Lucky Sperm Club. Some people come from that world, and good for them. But if that's not you, then look at the world you live in. And if you need to make significant money working part-time schedules, then which of these groups would apply to you? Now, Bob, you just wasted an hour and 15 minutes because you're not going to do this, right?
I'll implement some of it.
Good. So let's stop there with that. If you do that, if you implement some of it, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Tom, if you do the movie night at the school and that's all you do, nothing's going to happen. It would be as if you're baking a cake and you eliminate some of the ingredients. What's going to happen? I don't really know. I mean, something will turn out, but it probably won't be what you were thinking. And it works like that. If you do some of it, you dabble at it, nothing's going to happen.